I can see a really interactive open workspace where people are throwing stuff at each other and laughing and giggling and working hard and sharing ideas. It plays down the necessity of the hierarchy and opens up more discussion, opens up more arguments, opens up more debate.
Literally with the garage door opening onto the sidewalk, like the whole studio space does open up with a little performance, set up, and so the idea is that we can welcome members of the public in here as well.
But I think this is the only radio station that's on the street in Vancouver. Like, I think every other station is on the second, third, or 54th floor of a building somewhere. We have a pretty open front door and lots of glass, and you can see everything that's happening in here. That was done specifically to make sure that we're on the street and we're accessible.
This is privately owned. Like, this radio station's owned by 4 families. There's no big corporate entity behind it.
Roundhouse is specifically a low power FM. Unlike most FM stations in Vancouver that are high power, and their antenna can be on Mount Seymour and cover all of the Lower Mainland, they also have the burden or the responsibility to speak to all of the Lower Mainland. As a low power FM with a little tiny transmitter in the heart of downtown Vancouver, it really limits the focus of the radio station. Everybody else has to flatten their content to reach the Lower Mainland. We don't. Our focus is specifically the 20 some odd communities that fall into that parameter.
I mean, there's going to be 30 people working in here. They're going to be focused just on Vancouver, and I think by the nature of that alone, it will provide a different type of depth.
So if you were new to town, I would hope that when you drifted by whatever we were doing online or on the air, that you'd stop for a minute and pause and say, geez, that feels different. I've not heard something or felt something quite like that. And the presentation, whether it was the announcer and the way he or she spoke to me or invited me to be part of that conversation, or the music that we played that was unique and different and special, you'd stop and pause and say, wow, I wish I had one of those in my city.